Next we have this black car, and this is an 03 Carrera 2. So the standard car, two-wheel drive. Now what happened was when the 996 first came out, it had a headlight treatment that was identical to the Boxster with lights like this. And then for the Turbo, they wanted to differentiate it, and so they changed the lights and the front bumper cover, etc., to look like this. In response to criticism from the buyers that claimed the 911 was too similar to the Boxster, for the 2002 model year, they gave the 996 911 the same headlights as the Turbo. So these cars then have identical taillights, but this gray car doesn't because it's an 01. They also increased the engine from 3.4 liters to 3.6 liters, and then the power went up from 296 horsepower to 320 horsepower, and there were some detail improvements in the chassis and the interior, etc. So the 02 and onward 996 911 is a facelifted car with some mild exterior changes. So one of the aims for the 996 was to make the car a little bit more refined than the air-cooled car, which was terrific for the hardcore sports car fan with super direct and responsive steering, and a fairly vocal engine, but it was a pretty raw, fidgety machine. Tons of driver involvement and a very cool car, but they were trying to get people to go to Porsche from Mercedes and BMW, who wanted to drive the car more on a daily basis and make the car more refined. So this car here would be the stock. It has options, but the stock 911 two-wheel drive. It's got some aero side skirts, and it has the Porsche racing seats and three-spoke wheel, etc. White gauges, aluminum package. So it's a nicely done car. But it would be of the three of these the most civilized of them. What makes this car special is that it's a 2003, but it only has 20,000 kilometers on it, 22,000 kilometers on it. So it's almost an as new car. The third one here is this gray car. This is an 01 C4, so the four-wheel drive. I sold this car about 4 years ago as a used car, stock car, and it's always been local, original paint, and full history. But the fellow that I sold it to then got an idea to make it into a Ruf replica. So Ruf, of course, is a very famous German tuner company, maybe one of the original tuner companies. They were famous in the 80s because they came out with their Yellow Bird 911, and I remember the Road and Track article. It was on the cover, and this car got to about 212 miles an hour on one of the high-speed tracks. So Ruf's always been a fan of the narrower cars. The Turbo has quite different lines in the back with flared rear haunches and a lot more air openings, which cause drag. So Ruf always did performance modifications on the stock cars because they gave higher top speeds. So Ruf would have taken a normal 911 and done a whole host of mechanical and cosmetic upgrades, put their own serial numbers on it, and then doubled the price of the car. So it's hugely expensive. So what this car is a 911 C4 that was supercharged by an American company, a good reputation. It was done by the city's best tuning firm, and all the parts were carefully selected, and this car was built properly. I sold the car with 40,000 kilometers on it, and now it is 93, and it's been running for 50,000 kilometers with a supercharger installation. It's a dead reliable car. It runs perfectly. everything was done correctly. And then the owner then went to Wysack in Vancouver and bought the roof kit, which is the front spoiler here, and the rear bumper cover, the rear wing with the inlets, etc., and then did some work on the interior with the roof gear shift, etc., etc. And it's a very convincing replica of an RGT. We have Works Brombacher 19-inch wheels with new Continental tires. The car is lowered, but anybody who sees this car is blown away by it, basically. I mean, it's the highest kilometer car here, but it looks almost new. So carefully built and carefully taken care of. So this car runs a very modest amount of boost. The supercharger kit called for 6 psi, and then because it's supercharged, it's a linear boost, so you only get the full boost at close to redline. Unlike a turbo engine, where it'll deliver peak boost at basically the peak torque, which is maybe 3,000 RPM or so. So that and the fact that it's always been driven in Calgary, which is high, and the air is thin, means that the car is probably effectively only run like 3 or 4 psi at boost, or 3 or 4 psi at redline. So it's a pretty understressed engine. This isn't a hand grenade car. Like I said, it's already gone 50,000 kilometers. No oil loss, no smoke, no nothing. It runs perfectly. So if you were to talk about the power, it probably puts out something around 400 to 425 horsepower. It's a light car. The Porsche four-wheel drive system only adds about 165 pounds to the weight of the car. And we've got beautiful rims and tires, a great aero kit, the roof kit that's perfectly matched to the paint. It was done by Marinello in Calgary, and some roof badges, and anyway, sensational car. It's also $50,000. The guy he bought the car for $80,000 and then spent about another $70,000 on it. We got every bill, all the magazine articles, every document that's ever been done to the car. So for the buyer who wants a used Porsche, we've got 3 nice choices: modified 01 C4, a stock and very low K 2003 C2 two-wheel drive, facelifted car with a 320 horsepower engine, or we have the red turbo 01 car, 65K, and we're looking for $60,000 for this one. So if you're in the market for a used Porsche, please come down and have a look at these 3 cars. They're all very desirable, yet quite distinctive. We'd be happy to show them to you, and some of our other cars as well. So Lawrence Romanosky, The Distinctive Collection in Calgary, Canada, and thank you for viewing this video.